sense of belonging, sense of freedom. We need a sense of power in our lives. I know you know this more than I do. I don't want to step on your toes. This is probably your department. What am I doing? I'm acknowledging other people's life experiences as being valid. It gives people a sense of accomplishment, a sense of autonomy, a sense of power. The need for a sense of power starts very early on in the human dynamic. Any of you ever spent any time with 3-year-olds? 3-year-olds can dress themselves. They can. You can set their clothes out for them. If you're a little bit more adventurous, you can let them pick out their own clothes. They'll fumble with buttons and zippers and get themselves dressed. Excuse me. But what happens when we're in a hurry? We do it for them. We button their buttons, we zip their zippers, we brush their hair. And what are they like? I could do this by myself, you know. They like to think in their mere 3 years of existence, they've acquired enough experience to handle things on their own. They love that feeling of independence. We all do. Have you ever set up a tent without the directions? That's a peak experience. We're talking Maslow here. I don't need no stinking directions. I could say to my family, I set this tent up all by myself and never even looked at the directions. I might have an extra steak and an extra pole. Those are for the bear. We love that feeling of independence, but here's another fact. None of us are independent. Not when we come into the world, not when we go out of the world, not when we're in the middle of it. We are absolutely interdependent. Every one of us absolutely counts upon someone else to do something for us within the community. And just because I have somebody do something for me within the community doesn't make me superior to that person. We have to be careful how we speak to each other. We're interdependent. I have a favorite example. I have found the secret to carefree automotive maintenance. It's called check writing. My car breaks down. I write a check. I give it to the man or woman whose hobby or job is to fix cars. They fix my car. Now, I could temporarily sacrifice my individual pursuit of happiness in this one trip I'm on around the planet and go take a course in automotive repair, but I don't choose to. Yet, I am convinced if you look like you know cars, you're held in a certain level of esteem in certain groups. What I'd like to do right now is take a moment to teach all of you a phrase each of you can use to give each of you the appearance of knowing car repair. If somebody says to you, my car wouldn't start this morning, look that person square in the eye and say, it's probably the solenoid. I don't know what the solenoid is. I'm convinced a lot of people say that. They don't know what it is either. Little gadget that controls how much power gets to another gizmo. It doesn't matter. If you say that, the other person's going to look you right back in the eye and say, oh, I better get that checked. Yeah. If you spit after you say it, they'll think you're an expert. Now, not that all mechanics spit, but if somebody says, my car wouldn't start this morning, and you say it's probably the solenoid, if you do that, they're going to think you spent some time in a garage. True story. I was teaching high school English and drama in England. I had a brand new car, a Japanese car made in England. It was a Nissan Micra, little tiny thing, brand new. It cost like $84. And I'm in traffic. I have cars in front of me, cars behind me. I'm at a stop sign. The car's idling nicely. It's 4 days old. When suddenly the car spontaneously quits. So I tried the body shake thing. Sometimes this works. You shake some gas somewhere. Yeah. The car's not starting. I'm starting to panic. I'm reaching for my checkbook. I think, well, maybe I'll look under the hood. I don't know why. I know I should have probably looked under the hood when I bought the car, but my criteria for buying a new car is I like it. It's blue. Oh, it has a cup holder? Where do I sign? Yeah. So I pulled the hood release. I noticed the hood release. It's got the little picture with the hood. I pull that. The hood pops up. Now I have a problem. I don't know where the thingy is. You know the thingy? Now, guys, men, we put a look on our face like we already just automatically know where that thingy is. You know that look I'm talking about, that look of male competence? You know the look. You know the look. I'll demonstrate. You ladies have seen this look before, haven't you? Yeah. I guarantee some of the men in here right now are thinking, man, shut up. But I'm convinced if other people are watching you and you have to move your hand more than twice, then you're incompetent. If you have to bend over and look to see where it is, oh man, loser. So I have people watching me. I walk to the front of the car, put my hand underneath, put my hand right on it. It's a squeezer. So I give them the look. And I lift up the hood and I grab the other thingy, right. One of the guys at John Deere said, the hood prop. And I went, ooh. So I grabbed the other thingy and put it up. I look inside the engine compartment. I said, that's not right. The distributor cap, the entire assembly where the spark plugs are, the entire assembly is lying on its side. I said, that's not right. And I could see that one of the clips must have vibrated and come loose, and I could see how it worked. And I put it back in place and put the clip up and clipped it down, and I was so convinced that I, on my own, had remedied my automotive calamity that I put the other thingy down, closed the hood, got behind the wheel. I'm like, whoo. And I drive off, and I can feel people looking at me. And I know one of them's going, that guy knows cars. You know what the other person said? Yeah, it was probably the solenoid. Yeah. People love to figure things out on their own. It gives them a sense of accomplishment, a sense of autonomy, a sense of power. And good friends, good teammates, good supervisors, good parents, good teachers, good leaders, good spouses, good family members do not rain on another person's accomplishment parade. We don't say things like, I can't believe you're just figuring that out for the first time. Or, I already knew that, didn't you? No. We learn to say things like, great instincts. That is so cool that you could just figure that out on awesome. All right. Yeah. And something else from doing this program worldwide that I've discovered, despite the jokes, it is not only men who sometimes do not stop and ask for directions when they're lost. This is a human thing. I mean, sometimes I stop and ask for directions. Sometimes I like to figure it out on my own. I call this the intoxication of momentum. You know, I might be lost, but I'm making good time. Let me say something else about this intoxication of momentum. It will stop us in our workday from wanting to go to a meeting where we're going to find out that we have more work to do. It's kind of like we get so busy in our routines, we don't want to take a break to go find out about more stuff we have to do. We want to keep doing the stuff that we have. And some of you are probably thinking, what's this warm up the workplace program? We're going to go listen to some motivational speaker. Oh, please. Here's the point. By getting together with new people and new ideas, we can incorporate some ideas that help us approach our routines from a slightly improved angle. We have to open up our minds, our hearts, and let some new stuff in. But that's not easy for adults. For children, they're wide open. They bring in more than we want them to. But adults, we have a tendency to mostly see and mostly hear what we've seen or heard before. We are drawn to the familiar. Gentleman in the blue shirt right there, you see me? Sir with the name? Yes, sir. Tell me what kind of car you drive. A Saturn. Is it like a Saturn? Is there a number on it or anything? A Saturn Aura. Oh, those are cool. Have you seen any other Saturn Auras on the road? Spot them a long way off, don't you? You ever notice that? You can see your make and model car 4 blocks away. Oh, that's just like my car coming. Mine's better looking, but that's just like my car. Yeah. Sir, let me ask you one more question, please. Sir, hello. Still, one more question, please. When you see another Saturn Aura on the road, do you notice what kind of car is behind it? No, it doesn't pertain. We look at what we know. It catches our eye. We juxtapose it. We compare it with our own. Because we're so focused on the familiar, we don't see what's going on around in those circumstances. Keeping this in mind, how much new information do you believe gets by every one of us on a daily basis? Tons. So sometimes we have to slow down our own intoxicated momentum. We have to sometimes really open up our minds and hearts and really see what's going on. I mean, I worked in nursing care when I was in the military. How important is it for me to pay attention at change of shift report? It's paramount. A sense of belonging, a sense of freedom, a sense of power, and probably just as important, we want a sense of fun in our lives. We want to know we're going to get to a moment of the week, the month, the year, this program where we're in that flow state, where we love what we're doing in the here and now. What's interesting to me is that when you were coming in, I was doing a little bit of music. Around the room when you guys were coming in, I got this look from quite a few of you. We're having music. I'm going to sit in the back. Some of us are not very comfortable with live music. There's nothing quite like live music to put us squarely into the here and now. Plus, music expresses feeling, and that's something else that we're not too accustomed to in professional environments. But what's interesting to me is that if I was in front of a room full of kindergartners, new humans, and I asked, who would like to sing a song? Kindergartners? You say, go ahead, sing a song. Jack and Jill will nothing. It doesn't even have to be a song. They'll sing it. You ask third graders who would like to sing a song. It's kind of sad. Some of them will actually go, what are they doing? Am I going to be approved by my peers? Am I going to be ridiculed? By the time human beings are 8 years old, they've heard, stop it, sit still, you can't, be quiet. No, it's inappropriate, stop. Usually based upon the apprehension of the adults they're with. When I began my career as an educator, I had a long-term substitute teaching position for kindergartners. I'm standing in the hall waiting for the kindergartners to return from kindergarten PE. The gym teacher sees me. She sees I'm accepting responsibility for the class. She returns to the gym. The children come walking down the hall in a straight line across the hall. You know how when we speak to young children, how we animate our faces? We lift up our eyebrows and put a smile in our eyes, boys and girls. Walk along the side of the wall so that people can get by, okay? And they're like, that's my little boy look. Yeah. And then the first one saw the water fountain. You know what this means? The entire class will be stopping to have a drink now. When's the last time any of you have seen this? Kindergartners returning from gym, drinking from a school water fountain. And they're pushing each other, but they've learned to keep their hands to themselves. That's funny. When you tell young children, boys and girls need to keep your hands to yourselves, they go, okay, no big deal. They're using their whole brain. They're having fun while they're doing it. They've already come up with a way around your rule. There's a great story that illustrates it. Young mother on the phone with her mom. At her feet's her 3-year-old daughter, a 6-month-old baby boy laying on a blanket. She gets engrossed in the conversation. She looks down. The children are gone. She says, gotta go. Hangs up. Walks out in the hall. Hears their voices coming from her daughter's room. Walks down the hall. Finds her children. She says, honey, I've told you, you can't pick up the baby. He's too big. And honey, you're too small. And she says, I didn't. Well, how did he get to your room? She said, I rolled him. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Didn't break the rule, didn't hurt the baby. Can you imagine that little boy going down the floor? Oh, we're back in the hallway at the water fountain. They're pushing each other, but they've learned to keep their hands to themselves. Come on. It gets down to the last 2 little boys. I said, okay, let's go back to the classroom. It's his turn. You'd think he just crossed the desert. He's like, last little boy. Okay, let's go back to the classroom. He goes, and he lifts up his little hand, and he puts it in my big hand, and I'm thinking, that is so sweet. And then with total innocence, totally in the here and now, he lifted up my hand and wiped off his mouth on my sleeve. It was at that moment that I had become an it to him. My name had been conveniently changed to Handy Wipe. But I learned something from this. This little boy did not wipe off his mouth on my sleeve to be malicious. He had a need. His mouth was dripping. And my sleeve became an immediately accessible tool for him to independently meet his own need. Watch young children. They're little engineers. They'll grab anything and make a toy out of it. They grab something else and build a bridge. They don't look over their shoulders to see if somebody thinks what they're doing is inappropriate or wrong. They are totally confident in their innate abilities to problem solve. They use their whole minds, and they have fun while they're doing it. And we, as adults, have more of this capability than we utilize. I have a game to play. Excuse me? I have a list of 20 words, 10 pairs of words. I'd like you to please listen to this list. Jacket, calendar, alarm, apple, light, smoke, train, ice, cup, airplane, forest, mud, speaker, raincoat, Woodstock, tweed, thermostat, cobweb, heater, dust. 20 words, 10 pairs of words. If you remember, say it. What word went with train? I heard 4 people out of a few hundred. Okay, here's what just happened. I said, I have a list of 20 words, 10 pairs of words. I'd like you to please listen to this list. And then with most of you, I might as well have gone. But if I would have said Saturn aura, you would have heard that loud and clear because it pertained. But otherwise, we did not know how much of our attentiveness to project into this little game that Frank was playing. Now watch. I have another list of 22 words, 11 pairs of words. This time I'd like you to please listen with a different part of your mind, with the part of your mind that you get to use when somebody says, be creative, come up with your own way. This time, when I give you 2 words, I want you to use your imagination and draw a picture in your mind that connects those 2 words together, even if they're not connected. For instance, if I say tree, microphone, picture a tree with a microphone sticking into it. Or picture a microphone that's shaped like a tree so that when you speak into it, the branches are right in front of your face. The more creative the picture, the more indelibly, the more permanently the words will be left in your mind. So please, everybody, what word goes with tree? Here we go. Window, halo, tree, ocean, whisper, poodle, cloud, cube, puddle, piano, staircase, boat, triangle, shoe, cake, violin, leather, table, lilac, canoe, ukulele. That's 22 words, 11 pairs of words, one reading. Please, everybody, what word goes with tree, window, ocean, cloud? And that's backwards from the way I gave it to you. But that doesn't matter. For those of you who participated the way I suggested, this list now belongs to you. What word went with staircase? And that's backwards from the way I gave it to you also. Canoe. Boat. Which ones have I missed? Yeah, what kind of flowers are on the table? And an hour from now, this list will still belong to you. Now, the reason why I use this game in this program is understanding how people need to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of connection. What do you think would happen to our level of connection with others if we used that kind of listening when they were telling us their stories from their lives that are important to them? I used to have an awful habit. I used to look a person square in the eye and act like I was listening to her. I would lift up my eyebrows and nod my head and even vocalize responses like, really? Oh, cool. Is that right? Yeah. When actually the first couple of sentences that came out of her mouth reminded me of a more important story because it was one of my stories. And I'm not listening to her experience at all. I'm actually thinking about my own experience to such a degree, I'm actually rehearsing in my mind what I'm going to say as soon as she stops talking. Anybody else have this habit from time to time? But what if we use the other level of listening? And I come up to you and say, how'd your uncle's gallbladder surgery turn out? And you realized I was listening with enough intensity 2 weeks ago that I remembered what type of operation your mother's brother was having. Or how'd your nephew's piano recital go? Didn't he do that Beethoven piece, that Für Elise, that dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee? How'd that go? Or you told me about that vacation that you went on, and it sounded so awesome. My wife and I just booked. We're going to the same place. And you let someone else know that he or she had that level of influence on you that you would schedule your family's vacation based upon their recommendation. You start doing things like this, and you start to become part of another person's choice world, part of their quality world, and they become part of yours because we have to try harder. We're human beings. We have virtual playgrounds going on up here. You could be acting like you're listening to me right now. You're thinking about what you're having for lunch. Everybody, what color is a polar bear? What do cows drink? They drink water. Yeah. Maybe that was a tough one. I don't know. Try another one. Everybody, spell shop. What do you do when you come to a green light? No, you go. It's a green light. You go right through it. It takes nothing. It takes nothing to have a human brain redirected. It's no wonder we make as many mistakes as we do, but mistakes are important. Here's my favorite one. You're going to want to take this one home with you. A friend of mine in college said, Frank, I bet I can make you say, no, I haven't. Don't let me. And I'm like, ready. She said, if you could fly anywhere in the world today, where would you choose to fly to? I said, Maui. She says, you're on your way to Hawaii. Rough, turbulent flight. You feel airsick. Flight attendant walks up to you and asks, are you ill? You say, yes. He asks, what would you like to drink? Coffee, tea, or milk? You're airsick. Which would you choose? I said, tea. She said, you've heard this before. I said, no, I haven't. Here's the thing. I didn't know why she was laughing. I said, I haven't. Then she twists the knife. She says, yes, you have. I said, no, I haven't. 3 times I said it. Everybody, spell 10.